It's like a Kyrie animation. Okay, we're out. Oh, this is, a note. What? A note? Yeah, I found it in the pockets of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something. What the hell? Let me see it. But Junpei wasn't just going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice. Hey, Junpei, Clover, what are you two doing? Hurry up. Clover shrugged. I'll show it to you later, alright? Come on, we gotta hurry. Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note. A note. Junpei was curious. But there was something else that bothered him. Her pocket had been bulging far more than it would from just a note. Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed himself to do stuff. They reached B deck at the same time. Dat boy! Clover! Jun's face was excited. Something had happened, and that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her. What's up? Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. Jun, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it! Found what? We found it! What did you find? The last door! We found door 9. What? Come on, just follow. We'll explain it on the way. Okay, let's go. 7 turned and jogged off down the stairs. The rest followed. We finally made it. The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt. Yeah, it's finally time. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then probably it was. He could feel his heart racing. The mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. But there's one thing he couldn't get off of his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate between 3 and 5 people. There were 7 of them on their way to door 9. That meant that even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them who would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated that it was 4:30. They had 90 minutes before their time was up. Hey, Junpei! Jun! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up! Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie. Let's go, dat boy! Jun took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. 7 grabbed hold of it and began to talk. I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much time to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left. That took us on the other side of the grate. After that, they'd headed down in the hallway. It took them towards the bow of the ship and eventually to the number 6 that Junpei and Jun had found earlier. With the 4, they'd been able to open the door and keep going. As usual, they faced a locked door, but had been forced to complete 2 different areas before they could unlock it. Once they went through that door, there was another hallway that went to the other direction, towards the stern. So on your way, you found the elevator. That's right. So in other words, you kind of did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side. Yeah. With that settled, Junpei looked around. So where's the number 9 door? Over here, follow me. 7 began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with them. They had been walking for a while, Jun in silent step with Junpei. When she spoke, where is Clover? Is she actually with us here? You know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now. Huh? That the 7 of us are going to go to door 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus. What's their digital root? 9. 9. It's 9. That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they wanted to. But they didn't. Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June behind. That's why we went looking for you guys. And then you got on the elevator and came back to the central staircase. That's right. Well, I wouldn't have called that one that Santa would be the one to stick up for you, I mean. Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that. Oh, don't get me wrong. Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern. I don't mean that Seven and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it and Santa objected to it first. Junpei was about to respond when Seven suddenly stopped. In front of them stood a door. So is this... Junpei couldn't see Seven's face, but he could see him nod. There's no other place for us to go? Nope, just look around. At the end of the hallway was a thick iron wall. To the left and the right, other hallways led to the port and starboard sides of the ship, but they were both closed off by thick metal grates. It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice. Alright, let's get moving. He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared that they had been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door, decorated, sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant. Yeah, we're in uncharted territory. Finally, they'd arrived. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened, even as his blood began to boil. He was about to speak when... Junpei, look behind you. He turned around. Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw. A door. And a 9. There was another one. Hey, what the hell? What the hell's going on here? His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door. He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real. Why the hell are there 2 doors? It was Ace who spoke first. Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one? Lotus was skeptical. I don't know about that. That seems unlikely. What makes you say so? Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They are full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just have to go through with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck? Then you're saying that there's some sort of hint in this room. No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though. Did you find the fucking coffin with fucking snake in it? Well then that means... Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it. The exit is hidden, but it is there. Seek the exit. Seek the door that carries a 9. Junpei began to mutter to himself. So if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up right... That's not gonna work! Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand. You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them? Another fucking notebook, boys. Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. Look at this. Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers. You get it? Numbers on the top are all the combinations with the digital root of 9. Numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people, so If 3 people go through the door, then 4 people are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind, right? Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him. As he did, he began to wonder, what was it? The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room. Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet, there it is, an altar? It was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin, a coffin, a coffin, a coffin, a coffin, a coffin. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced. Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if I sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but I guess nobody's got the guts to do it. Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one. What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Ugh, fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong. She just... screw it. Let me just write it out. Seven snatched at the notebook and began to write it in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look. If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everyone out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into a group of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination. Wait, this means... Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. If he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing. The same thing? Are you saying... Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind. Why are you acting all heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot? Lois was the first to speak. That in and of itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered. I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamn if I'm going to have to owe you a favor for getting out of here. The rest of them began to speak all at once. I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There's got to be other options. I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven. This is Seven's face right now. I ship it. Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's got to be a better way than this. Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough. Doesn't make any sense. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke. Well, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable. Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here? Santa shook his head. Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone. Then I don't see how it I said alone. I said I don't want to leave Seven alone. There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver. What the hell are you... Wait, you don't get it? I can't just leave... I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'd be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders. What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the fuck is gonna listen to you? You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice. What? 3, 2, 1. Santa was so fast Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moved like lightning. He spun and... Ah! What the fuck? He had June. See? I told you. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense and Junpei felt as though his head was about to explode. Why are you doing this? Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. What was he doing with a gun? Where on earth had Santa possibly found a fucking gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion. The gun from the other room. What room? One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was going to do this. I should have taken the gun. Well, it's too late now, fat ass. Damn it. A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lips twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded and he began to move. He walked backwards, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, then forced June to do the same. Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands on the red. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more people. Are you deaf? I gave you an order. Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen, like deer, caught in the headlights of an oncoming car. Right, fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it. No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wood splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real, and it worked. But why? Santa, why are you... Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief. Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends. What? You knew about the leaf word and the 4-leaf clover. Santa's cheeks twitched, almost imperceptibly. What the hell's that shit? I've got no idea. You're lying. Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet? You want me to pull a bullet in your fucking head? Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small. Santa. He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus. Alright, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? You hearing starting to go? Going senile, maybe? Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. Junpei's safety was the first priority. Or June's safety, goddammit. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she wouldn't leave the ship, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. He turned to Ala, to Ace, and Lotus. Please, go. Huh?
But... that boy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck, that boy. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something else out. Right, Seven? Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. But... no, you can't. Ace, Lotus, don't do it. Don't worry about me, please.
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. Without a word, he laid a hand on each of their backs and gently pushed them forward. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step. And another. They turned around and Junpei nodded. Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly towards the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled. Alright, let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What, you think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know. All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again. He shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced. Fine. Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus stared at Santa and slammed her hand on the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on. Good job. Now Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, you know what happens, right? Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few. Alright, go! Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. Later! After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles in the altar to flicker and die. What the fuck? The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and 7 had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. 7 shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything, to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. Dude, but fucking Clover has the 0 bracelet, right? So she must know that she can still peace out with that boy and leave 7 behind, technically. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. The red engaged. He moved to the smaller door. Vacant. The red vacant. The digital rooted the remaining people with 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door. He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat. That was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and said thank you for following. So, what do you want to do, Junpei? What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do? 7 opened his mouth to respond when... Here it comes. A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something, vigorously. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another. What the hell is that? Shh! Quiet! Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Where? Where was it coming from? Could it be... Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin. You're right. Let's open it. But how? What are those muscles for show? You telling me to try and force it open? Just shut up and try. Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip of what little purchase they could find and pulled with all their strength. Ah! Ah! Damn it. Man, it won't even budge. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. Not another one. Yeah, it looks like it. You think we had to put in the right password or it won't open? think so. The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder. They had no idea who was in the coffin, but they wanted out, and they wanted out now. They had no idea what they were supposed to do. Without a passcode, it didn't seem like there was a lot they could do. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be. Isn't there a hint somewhere? Well, let's look for one. Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and 7 investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing. The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room. Ugh. What was the passcode? What was Junpei supposed to do? How was he supposed to figure it out? He needed something. The world blinked. The fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Suddenly there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. Truth had gone. Truth had gone. And truth had gone. What the fuck is this? Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. What the hell was that? That voice? Junpei was utterly and completely baffled. Huh? What are you talking about? What's up? 7 and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them. If he had told them he'd heard a voice, they'd laugh or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was, "Oh, nothing." He cleared his throat a little bit too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There were pairs of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Fuck this! Junpei pressed the buttons on the bracelet. Wasn't it just left, right, left, right, left, right? I think so. This is retarded. This is super retarded. Super fucking retarded. That's wrong. You should know that already. You should know everything. If you don't, then why did you bother to look at the bracelet? You already know that the darkness of the sinister hand is telling you to look at the bracelet on your left hand. Oh, right. Sorry, right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left, right, left. That was it. Eight numbers blinked on and then off on the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. Huh? Eh? Hey, what the hell were those numbers? Oh my gosh, are those... Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down from the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so that he wouldn't forget. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. With the trembling fingers, he punched them in. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence. Then there was the sound of the coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it. Ah! Oh, is that you, Clover? I apologize for worrying you. Snake! Oh my, how did you... Junpei and 7, is that you? Is everyone else there as well? Just like Rip Van fucking Winkle. Still, it wasn't very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask. Junpei and 7 shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears. You're back! With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms. Gently now, my body's still a little weak. You're back! Clover looked Like nothing so much as a lost childhood finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red, her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating.
You're back. You're really here.
Her voice was happy, but almost desperate, as if she feared that he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had to convince herself he was real. Perhaps she was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do.
Oh, you're back.
Come on now, what's gotten into you? You're acting as though I've returned from the grave.
Not as though you did. I really thought you were dead.
Huh?
You jerk. Idiot, idiot, idiot.
Clover broke into sobs so great she could no longer talk. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven sat down on one of the pews, waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired. I see. I believe I understand things rather well now, thank you. In the shower room, there was a dead body wearing my clothes. Because of that, you thought that I was dead. Correct? He had quickly and neatly summarized the events of several hours. Junpei nodded. You also discovered a corpse in the captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here in this room. Do I have it straight? Seven had been rather surprised to learn of the dead body in the captain's quarters. With everything that had taken place, Junpei had simply forgotten to mention it to him. Well then, I've got a pretty decent idea of what happened while I was indisposed, but it's still something of mystery who did all of this and why. The corpse in the shower room that looked like me, and the corpse in the captain's quarters. Why were they killed in the way they were? You don't know? No, why would I? The guy in the shower room. We don't know who he is, so let's just call him Mr. X. Anyway, this Mr. X is wearing Snake's clothes, but you're wearing some kind of weird robes. That means someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X. We need to figure out who that was. I apologize, but I have no idea who might have done this to me. I only just now woke up. I was unconscious during all of the events you just described to me. They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
When you were knocked out?
When we split up to look for the red. Where did they get you, do you remember? It was a small room in one of the hallways on C deck. What happened? The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were abducted. A can releasing some sort of gas was thrown into the room. I believe the gas is some sort of incapacitating agent.
Then does that mean it was...
Zero. Looks that way, huh? There's nothing else I have to tell you. When I woke up, I was in this coffin. Junpei crossed his arms in thought. Why had Zero made Mr. X wear Snake's clothes? How had the results of that trick benefited Zero? It was a mystery. Junpei couldn't make sense of it. He also didn't have a satisfactory explanation for how he discerned the key code for the coffin. It just didn't make any sense. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. What did that mean? Did it mean anything? And why had Junpei felt compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them? Seven asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He had no answer for him then, and he still didn't. All I could say was that it seemed to have been a subconscious reaction. His fingers had simply moved of their own accord. It was the only explanation that made any sort of sense, and it made almost no sense. Junpei had no idea what any of it meant. His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and more mysteries. He could barely think. And of course, Snake and Clover had been subjects in a similar experiment 9 years ago.
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. First is epiphany, and the other is danger. And someone did actually die. A girl. Her name was,
There had been another experiment conducted on the same ship 9 years ago. A girl had died during it. Fucking shit. Morphogenetic field fucking theory. The two murders. Switching clothes. The nonary game. And whatever strange thing was happening to Junpei himself. Funyorimpa. The maelstrom in his head spat out words and ideas that disappeared back into it almost as soon as he had grasped them. But as he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There was something that tied all of them together. Zero. He was the ringleader, the person who had trapped 9 people on the sinking ship. Zero knew everything. If they could uncover Zero's identity, all of their questions would be answered. Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginnings of a theory. If we could only test it, or perhaps... At any rate, we have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape. Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes? That means we have less than an hour. We must hurry.
Hey, how are we gonna get out of here?
Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door.
Oh yeah. You're right. With Snake, we can open the door.
Don't tell me you hadn't figured that out. As they had sniped back and forth, Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He was wearing a bracelet with a 2 on it.
Come on, you gotta tell me these things.
I assumed you'd figured it out.
Forget it. Let's just get going.
7 stomped off towards a smaller number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. 7 quickly laid his hand on the red. An asterisk appeared on the screen. Junpei and the others followed suit and laid their hands on the scanner panel. Soon there were 4 asterisks on the screen. 7 glanced at them, then laid his hand on the lever of the red.
Alright, you guys ready to go?
Yeah, yep. Junpei paused for a moment. Not yet.
Huh?
Oops. Before we begin, I'd like to check something. You want to check something? Yeah, but before I do, 7, could you pull the lever? I want to make sure we can verify with just the 4 of us.
What do you mean? We don't need...
Just do it, alright? But if the door opens, don't go in yet, okay? Please. This is really important. I really need to check this, okay? Work with me here. Junpei looked directly into 7's eyes. The older man turned back for a moment, then nodded.
Fine.
Seven pulled down the lever, and the door 9 creaked open. Then they waited. After 9 seconds, the door closed. Alright, that means the 4 of us can go into door 9.
So? We knew that already. It was obvious.
Obvious. Yeah, you're right, it is. Now, what happens if we add Zero's bracelet?
What?
Zero's bracelet. Why don't you take it out, Clover? For a moment, Clover looked surprised, but she recovered quickly and stuck her tongue out at Junpei. Yeah, so you did know I had it. Picked it up because I thought it might be useful sometime. She's like, you got me. She reached into one of those pockets of her voluminous jacket and produced a bracelet. Junpei took it from her and turned to 7. It was in the left hand of the corpse in the captain's quarters. If you look at it, you can see it's got a 0 on the face. Just to make it a little easier to talk about, I'm going to call this guy we found dead in the captain's quarters Cap. If Cap really was 0, then I should be able to open door 9 with just me, Clover, and his bracelet. But most importantly, if you were Cap and this was your game, would you really put one of these bracelets on yourself? Anyway, let's just give it a shot. Clover, give me your hand. Okay. After he and Clover scanned their bracelets, he waved Caps over the scanner panel. Then he pulled the lever. However, the door didn't open. The red display read error. What the fuck? Wait, this happened already? I knew. Now, what does this tell us?
Maybe the bracelet just has to be on your wrist in order for it to work.
No, that's impossible. Did you see how the panel showed a 3rd asterisk when I scanned Cap's bracelet? Whether or not it's on your wrist doesn't matter. All you have to do is put the bracelet near the panel for it to register. 7 waved his bracelet in front of the scanner panel. Sure enough, a single asterisk appeared on the red. Oh, that's right. It's an O. That's right. It's a fucking O. I forgot. It's a fucking O. Alright. I forgot. Huh. Looks like you're right. See? It's the letter O. So what does that mean? There's only one possibility. That bracelet isn't the number 0. Is that what you're saying? That's right.
Then what number is it?
Let's find out. Junpei scanned the bracelet with this combination. I don't actually remember. Because it's... Is it actually... Oh, I don't... If it was... Oh, that's what? 23? 24? 6... Or I guess it would be 24, right? Right, always. I don't actually remember if it's actually 24 or not, or whether we were just trolling each other. Oh, it is actually. Oh, okay, so it's 24, 26, 29. Oh no, it's just 6, right? Which is right. It is, okay, right. It's just a 6, right. Okay, it's not actually 24. It just counts as a 6. So 6 plus, what are we gonna do here? 6 plus no. 6 plus no. What is this? Wait. 6, 13, 18, 19. Did I fail? 6, 13, 18, 20. Sorry, I'm just bad counting. 6, 13, 17, 19. So it's God, I'm so fucking retarded right now. I'm so sorry. It's probably, oh my God, I'm so fucking dumb. My head hurts. Alright. If this combination opened the door, then Cat's bracelet was number 6.
Hey! It opened!
The door opened.
What? Why? What does that mean?
Both Seven and Clover seemed rather shaken as they turned to look at Junpei for answers. The door slid heavily shut. Junpei raised an eyebrow. Isn't it obvious? Cap's bracelet is numbered 6.
But doesn't it say 0?
This isn't a 0. The symbol on here isn't a number 0. It's a letter. Oh.
Oh.
Well, wait a minute. I don't get it. I mean, if we figured out that Cat's bracelet is 6, right?
Yeah?
Does that mean that there are 2 people with 6s?
Before Junpei could answer, Snake spoke up. There is most likely only one person with a 6.
But I don't get it. What about June?
Well, this is only an educated guess, but I think June's number was never 6 to begin with. What? Her bracelet was flipped. In other words, June's real number is... What? That seems most likely. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Then all this numbered door stuff was just a load of crap?
Why would you say that?
Because if June is 9, then the numbers wouldn't match. Hold up. Where the fuck? Hold up. Where the fuck? Who went in that door? It was Santa. It was Santa, Ace, Lotus and June. So if if June is 9, so that's 10 plus 18. Santa's 0. Wait, no. Wait a minute. Oh, what the fuck? Take the coffin code and multiply it by 9. What? Does it just get like 999? I don't know what the fucking. Clover grabbed Junpei's notebook and began to write furiously in it. She's probably writing what I did just now. Junpei leaned over to look at it. List all of the numbered doors June's gone through. Oh god, she really has always gone through with Santa. God fucking damn it. Oh, but she's also always gone in with. No. Fuck. Oh my fucking god. Alright, I made a list of all the numbered doors June had gone through. No fucking spoilers right now. Please, no fucking spoilers right now. Okay, fuck. I wrote down which door she went into and with who. I wrote all the numbers that were in. So if you switch 9 wherever there's a 6, the numbers don't work. Right, but fucking Santa is fucking 0. Yeah, it's fucking Santa. Oh my fucking god. The digital ruse too that you can't open door 8, Clover. Do you notice anything interesting on that list? What do you mean? You're talking about 3, right? 3? Santa's always in the room with her. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Yes, exactly. What about it? It's quite simple, really. You told me that the first time you came into this room, Santa was the first to refuse to leave June behind. Now, doesn't that beg the question, why? Why would Santa do such a thing? The answer is easy. Because Santa can't open door 9 with only 7 in Lotus. Of course, the only reason for that is his number is naturally 3. Santa's real number... 7, would you be so kind as to modify my sister's equations?
Yeah, sure.
7 took the pen from a confused Clover and began to adjust her calculations.
This is what you were getting at, right, Snake?
He read out the changes he'd made. When he'd finished, he looked at Snake. Snake smiled. Thank you. That's exactly right. Wait. But Snake's blind. Oh, he read out the changes he made. Okay. Santa's true number wasn't 3. It was 0. No way. Santa is 0? And June was 9, not 6. On the contrary, Santa was 0, not 3. They cancel out one another. Nothing appears out of order.
Then that means that even though he set the whole damn thing up, Santa was still playing by the rules the Nonary gave him this whole time.
Precisely. So you're saying that Santa planned out this whole thing? I'm not sure if he acted alone or not, but I think it's safe to conclude that he is 0, if my hypothesis is correct. Clover bit her lip. She seemed to be having some difficulty believing her brother's explanation. Junpei remained silent in thought. Snake's hypothesis didn't satisfy him. June's bracelet was flipped. Even though that were possible, then there would have been 2 number 9 bracelets. And if that were the case... Oh... What? Alright, that's enough talking. Let's go.
It's high time we went through that door. Door 9 opened. They leapt through. The dead was directly in front of them as they came through the door. Quickly, they scanned their bracelets. And the detonator stopped. Phew. After pausing for a moment to catch their collective breath, Junpei and his companions headed down the long hallway in front of them. At the end was a set of stairs leading down the ship. It looked as though they led all the way to the bottom deck. They looked down. It didn't seem to be flooded. After deciding it was safe, they headed down the stairs. Before long, Junpei and his companions found themselves on the bottom deck. They turned left into another hallway, at the end of which they found another door. And of course, there was a symbol engraved with the keyhole. It looked like a sort of harpoon when used on fish, the kind with 3 prongs. Snake traced the shape with his fingers. This is the Neptune symbol. There must be a key around here somewhere. Neptune key. All Junpei had was the Uranus key card. Not the same planet and not even the same sort of key. Clearly, it wasn't going to open this door. After examining the door for a few more minutes, they gave up and headed back the way they'd come. With a little more searching, they'd found a metal door. To the side of it was a card reader. The symbol was engraved upon the card reader. It matched the Uranus symbol on the key card Junpei was carrying. This is the place, he muttered to himself and slid the card through the reader. It beeped once, and the light on it turned green. With a heavy metal groan, the door creaked open. Junpei, Clover, Snake, Seven looked at one another, nodded, and stepped through.